What's up, Tiger fans? It's Morgan here, back again with another 5-minute video about your Clemson Tigers. And today I wanted to discuss the Tennessee passing chart that I just recently put out and released over on Twitter at the Morgan T Show. If you haven't already seen it or follow me over there, make sure you do, because I post every single passing chart of the year. This was my very first one for Cade Klubnik for an entire game. I did one for the North Carolina game, and I wanted to do one for Tennessee as well to take a look and see where he's at and how he performed in that game, and kind of dissect it a little bit from a fan's perspective. Obviously, I don't know what the plays are called or anything like that, but we can take a look at it, and I'll give you some of my thoughts. But let me throw up the chart here real quick so we can go over it together. Again, you see the passing charts broken down by area of the field on the left-hand side, and success percentage or completion percentage is color-coded. Green is above 50%, yellow is equal to or below 50%, and red is equal to or below 25%. You can see from the left-hand side that Cade Klubnik did really well behind the line of scrimmage. He only had one incompletion behind the line of scrimmage. And then within 10 yards or less, he did really well as well. Bunch of green there in those six quadrants. And then after you get past the 10-yard line, that's where it starts to kind of unravel for Clemson in the passing game. Those big deep ball threats, that's what you love about Cade, is that really you haven't seen that many deep ball passes all year from the Clemson Tigers. But the unfortunate thing is they really only went 1 for 11 if you don't include pass interference calls. If you do include pass interference calls, then, which I guess you really could, because of the fact that they did move the ball down the field with a pass interference. So you could give them 4 for 14 if you include those penalties there. So still a lot of attempts very deep down the field. You can see 40, 45, almost 50 yards, 35 yards, multiple times. It seemed like that Cole Turner was the deep ball threat for Cade Klubnik this game. I'm not really sure if that's a good or bad thing. Obviously, Cole has the ability to go up and catch balls. He had a really good catch in the game in a critical third down situation. And he does seem to have some good speed with him, but he is 6'1". He's not typically your guy that won the majority of those deep ball one-on-one type things. So I really don't know if he's a long-term option for Clemson when you compare what the other elite teams have. I really don't know. The verdict's still out if he really should be, your big deep ball threat compared to other teams out there. He is what you have right now, that's for sure. 0 passing touchdowns is also a call out that I would say you won't have any orange dots out there. Cade got close to the red zone, but it seemed like Clemson bogged down and could not figure it out. And again, I think that goes hand in hand. Cade is a guy who wants to throw it deep and wants to have that option there at least, right? Well, what happens when you get into short field situations? What happens when you get into those red zone situations or those overtime type situations? You can't always throw it 40 yards down the field or 35 yards down the field. So Cade's going to have to figure out what works for him, and the Clemson offense is going to have to figure out what works for Cade and in those short yardage situations where literally the field ends and he can't go deep. Also, another call out for me is that Ngata became more consistent of a threat in this game and in the North Carolina game. Will he stay? Will he come back for another year because of his seemed success with Cade Klubnik? Cade seems to like him more than DJ, or I wouldn't say necessarily like, but I'd say he looked for him more than DJ did. So maybe Ngata has some positive results with Cade for 2023 if he returns. Another thing that I wanted to point out as I was watching the film with Cade Klubnik is the running backwards has got to be tempered from the Clemson offense and the offensive staff. Cade has this natural drop back where he goes 4 or 5 yards back, but there are times where the pocket was not really collapsing on him and he was running 5, 10, 15 yards backwards. Even one of his interceptions on the right-hand side ended up being a situation where he was running 15 yards backwards and threw off of 1 foot, jumped up in the air, and I mean, he was still able to go 30 yards down the field with the ball, but he just can't do that against teams that are really good. And I mean, just at the college level in general, you don't see that naturally, guys running backwards 15 yards and then throwing it 30 yards down for a completion or anything that's positive. So they've got to figure out how to get him out of that kind of, tendency. And then the quick decisions, I think, are a good positive for Cade. He makes decisions a lot quicker than DJ, but it's also comes with a cost of sometimes he locks in on guys. And, we saw again in a situation where he almost got picked off for a pick six again. He had it in North Carolina on an outside type pass, sideline pass, and he had it again against Tennessee. So again, overall, Cade, he had a lot of passes, 54 attempts and 30 completions there. He had a quarterback rating, a QBR rating of 48.7 and 320 yards passing and a 55.6% completion percentage. A lot that he will probably want back and want to improve upon after that game. I put out a poll on Twitter, and I said, what would you give Cade a grade 1 to 10? Now, this is something that Big Al asked me, and I really am a lot different than the population. The population actually said 7 to 8 out of 10 for Cade Klubnik. Most of my friends said 7, 6.5. But for me, when you look at the body of work and what I feel like is Cade's potential, I feel like if you give him a 7 or 8, you're really giving him the benefit of the doubt of the offensive line, and you're giving him the benefit of the doubt of the bad play calling, with them completely forgetting the run game. Unfortunately for me, I can't give him a 7 or 8. I feel like he has a 7 or 8 for Cade, in my opinion, would be a win. I think Cade is that good. I think he is a game changer. I think if he's playing at that level, he's winning a game. Obviously, it bogged down in the red zone. It bogged down in short field. He made some deep ball passes on third down that I don't think he needed to. Again, he rolled out of the pocket and went backwards for 10, 15 yards, which to me is just unnecessary as well. So for me, I gave him a 4 or 5. I went with more towards the QBR, which is on a scale of 1 to 100 or 0 to 100. So I went in that mid-range, 4 to 5. I think if Cade's up into the 7 or 8 range, Clemson's probably winning every single one of those games because that's just how good he is. He got a lot left on the table. Again, disappointing loss for Clemson against Tennessee, but still a ton you can build on, and some freshman guys coming in that they can hopefully add to the mix in the wide receiver room and help him out. Hey, let me know what you think. Am I completely off base? Did I rate him too low? What do you think about the passing charts? And again, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter at @TheMorganT_Show. Hey, right here on YouTube, don't forget to like the video if you like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of my exclusive Clemson content I put out every single week.